All right, let's get the microphone check out of the way here. Let me know if you can hear me across various chats okay. That being YouTube, X, and no Discord, although we will start Discord soon as well, but Twitch. So let me know if you can hear my voice okay, and then we're going to get started here in just a moment. All right, let's roll into it. Hello and welcome to Landy's Crypto Corner. Today is March 29th, 2024. It is Friday and it is a bank holiday. Markets are closed and Bitcoin has pulled back to, well, one of our areas of interest to the downside from yesterday's video. So when looking at today's price action, we can see it came down to the $69,000 all-time high and has gotten a slight bounce from there in the lower term timeframes. Now, as I said in yesterday's video, the big area of interest for me to the downside to look for reactions with in terms of price reactions, volume coming in, bounces to occur somewhere around $69,000 to the daily basis band here, coming in at 68,385 right now. So basically the basis band is right around this smaller or tighter range low wick right now, and that's coming in at 68,369. Nice. So if Bitcoin does lose that area, the basis band and this wick low of this smaller consolidation range on the lower term timeframes, then I would be looking for it to head down somewhere to that lower first in and around there at 65.5 to the April of 2021 monthly swing high at $65,000 even. Now, if that area does break down, we do need to be aware of where the lower second standard deviation of the Bollinger Bands is. That is currently coming in at 62,500, somewhere around this low, this higher low on the daily here. Now, that wouldn't be unexpected to come down there if that $65,000 area did break down. But the bands are kind of painting a range picture right now. So if we did see price fall through there, I would be looking for it to head right to where we have seen these prior bounces at this monthly closing all-time high zone at 61,350 to 58.8. I wouldn't necessarily be looking for too much more than that, but we will talk about some further downside should 58.8 be closed below on a daily and or higher term time frame. So that's not what I believe is happening right now. To the other side of the equation here, if Bitcoin does pop up above the upper first standard deviation of the Bollinger Bands, I would be looking for it to run at minimum $72,000 to 73 up here by the closing all-time high area, and the wick highs here just shy of 74 at 7,300 or so. Now, if Bitcoin did start to close above there, in order to initiate expansion to the upside, we would need to see closures above the upper second standard deviation of the Bollinger Bands. That is currently coming in at around 74,200 to 500, depending on which way price is headed. So when price was closer to the upper first standard deviation of the Bollinger Bands, this was at around 72,500. So if Bitcoin does happen to get above that upper first, you're likely to see this push towards $75,000. Now, if Bitcoin can get a closure above $75,000, the big area of interest to the upside, let's go ahead and get rid of monthly support and resistance, would be between $75,000 and $78,000 if we look at a fib pull from this swing high to swing low of this current range, or basically the candles that are defining this range in terms of swings at the extremes of it. We can see that above around that 74,500 to 75K, we can see that the 1272 is coming in at around 78,400. So a good area of interest to look for to the upside is somewhere around 75 to 78. Above there, I would start to target the 1414 here at $80,000 to $81,000. And then, of course, if price does break and close above there on a significant time frame like a daily, then I would be looking for the next big area of interest here at the 1618 at 84.5 to $85,000. Now, above there is some further fib extensions to be aware of that head right into the $90,000 region. We have the 1786 up here at 87,800, almost 88,000. We've got the 1888 coming in at 89,600, almost 90,000. The two spot is coming in just above 90,000 at 92,000. We can see that above there, the 272 is lining up with 97.7, and the 2414 is coming in at $100,000 even. I do think that when Bitcoin eventually makes its way to $100,000, that we will see significant profit taking. So it will act as a big area of resistance. It's falling on a lot of longer term fibs as well. We're going to pull one in just a moment from the cycle high in 2021 to the bear market low of 2022. So basically 69K to 15.5. And you're going to see that there's major fibs falling right at the $100,000 level as well. Plus it's a round psychological number. It's a 6-digit number, probably going to see significant profit taking and probably a wider pullback from there on the daily, maybe even higher term timeframes. I don't believe that's where Bitcoin will stop when things really start get rolling, but that is a major area that I am looking at. Many of the short-term areas that I am talking about, like 75 to 78, 78 to 80, 80 to low 80s, and then mid 80s to 90s, those are, in my opinion, going to be short-term time frame resistances below the weekly. Once Bitcoin actually does break this all-time high there at 73,800 or so. Now, if we were to bring this out to take a look at some of those higher term time frame fibs from the prior cycle move down, we can see that we have the 1272 on any kind of a monthly closure above $69,000. So that is to say in the next 2 days and 5 hours, if Bitcoin can close above the one spot here at $69,000, the next natural target on the fibs is that 1272. It's coming in at 103,000, but 100,000 to 103,000. I mean, we're talking 6-digit numbers here. You're going to get some slush, some wicks, stuff like that. Could it plow right through there? Sure, yeah. The next major fib is at $128,000 here at the 1414. And then, of course, we have the 1618 coming in up there at 173,900, so almost 174 to $175,000. Can Bitcoin run further than that? Absolutely. Is that the first thing that I'm going to be looking for off of a break, though? No, but you're going to hear about the crazy upside targets even beyond there into the, the 1786 at 223, the 1888 at 260, and then, of course, 300,000 on the board for many Uber bulls right now. Are those deeper targets going to be possible? Sure, maybe. We'll discuss it when Bitcoin actually has its first major weekly top. We could even see a weekly top around this area, right? So we do need to be aware of that. If we take the fib off here and go to the weekly, we can see that, the weekly is poking at the upper second standard deviation of the Bollinger Bands here. So we have a nice swing high to swing low structure. If Bitcoin can close anywhere above $69,000 even, so $69,032, which is basically where today's wick has tested so far, well, then I would be looking for continuation at minimum to the upper second standard deviation, which is likely going to update to around this wick high and higher into like the $75,000 range. So again, I need to see closures above $75,000 on the daily to start targeting 75 to 78. Of course, above 78, I'm looking in that 78 to 80 range, and then above 80, I'm looking in the low 80s to mid 80s. But in this case, there is the opportunity for Bitcoin to hang out and go sideways, maybe even retest this upper first standard deviation on the weekly, which is the current swing low. So that swing low is coming in at around 60,700. We could even see if it's $60,000 tap if it did really start to pull back hard and break some of the levels to the downside that we were speaking about. Maybe even 58.8 at the monthly that we spoke about earlier. But closures below the upper first are where things start to look like, okay, we're going to see a deeper pullback. This would be your weekly top. We're looking for higher low structure. Could it come down further? Then we're starting to look at 53,000 on the weekly here, where we did have prior cycle resistance from the weekly time frame. Let's go ahead and throw on support and resistance so you can see that. We can see that that was the September of 2021 weekly swing high or wick high. And then we have close open zone right there that the weekly sat on here for, 1-2 closures and then an open before moving through. And that's roughly around $50,000. And as long as Bitcoin is trading above $50,000 on the weekly time frame, it's sideways and up, in my opinion. And even then, the last real closing low structure is all the way back here at 41,500. So, is there the potential for like massive downside? Absolutely. It would still be bullish though, as long as it was closing above, 41,500 to 38,500, which is the January of 2022 monthly close. So, I'm not concerned about this structure at all. I know there are some that are at this particular moment. But, Bitcoin's playing in the strong half of the prior all-time high zone between 65 and 69. I'm not really concerned about any of this price action right now. In fact, this looks more as though this is going to turn out to be a consolidation to blast off, to be quite honest. When looking at the daily Stoke momentum indicator, we can see that a regular Stoke, which is measuring price close over close, not velocity of RSI. So this is a regular Stoke running at 6,314,255 look back. We can see that the current pivot on it is at 65,300. Now, the longer Bitcoin hangs out and goes sideways, the closer this pivot's going to get. When looking at something like a 12-hour, we can see that we already have Stoke momentum turned against price. So momentum is turning down with the pivot at 70,570. Now, excuse me. Jeez. Now, when we take a little bit of a deeper look into some of the lower term timeframes below the 12-hour, though, we can see that the 4-hour doesn't look that bad. 70,721, not great, about $1,000 away, maybe more. What's price trading at right now? Yeah, a little bit more, about $1,200 away, but that's kind of a sneeze for Bitcoin right now. And if Bitcoin holds its current lows at around, 68.5, 68.3, anywhere above there, this is going to start, diving deeper into the from the mid zone into the bearish control zone, somewhere around that 30 to 38 read here, and then into the oversold without, really breaking any structure. If you see that and it begins to turn, you're going to see Bitcoin probably head back towards the highs, maybe higher. And, I'm not too concerned about this. If we do start seeing, this range wick low over here, I'm sorry, the range wick low is up here. We're on the 4 hour, 68, 300 or so. I would be looking for expansion down. I'd be aware of deviations on the 4 hour. So if we did start to see, closures below the lower second, which just so happens to be right around this current low of this shorter term time frame consolidation, if it did drop around that 68,369, nice, then, that's dropping right into some highs over here. And I would look at this little bit of a pause in price before the move up to consolidation, because what you could end up seeing, especially because it's a weekend, is a dip down into this 67.5 and then a pop right back up into range. That's something to be aware of. If you see something like that, it's probably more bullish than bearish. Still be aware that, we're looking at, structure, right? We want to see trending structure. Right now, this is consolidation structure, setting up for a bit of a range to the top side. We can see any closures above 71,350 or so would get expansion at minimum back to the current high side structure here at 71, 800 or so. If it can start closing above that upper second and that wick high, then we're looking for a move up towards 72, 73 area, then the all-time high and higher at 73,800 to 74 to 75, and so on and so forth. Below the lower second and drop this wick low, and I'd look right to this consolidation structure. High side coming in at 67,750 on the wick. Low side on the close opens here coming in around 66,700. Now that would be dropping down right into the bucket, so to speak, when looking at the support and resistance zone here. So this is the first big liquid zone. Then below 65, you've got no man's land into that big monthly liquid zone. So, just be aware of the context. Yes, a break below this low is not great. That is downtrending structure. Right now it is closing higher highs, not swing higher highs, but closing higher highs. Could it potentially bounce off at 69 and close a higher low or an equal low or a slightly lower low on divergence? Sure. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. But anything above 65 to 69, pretty damn bullish, especially coming into the weekly close. Any closes above $69,000 are going to look very good for the bulls. That does not rule out, that things can still come down, but, in general, looking more bullish than bearish, being above the prior cycle all-time high in a weekly close, which Bitcoin has yet to do. So, to be fair, it kind of did it. $69,000 here, even on Coinbase Spot, but we got to close open at 69.32. That's not a clean break. It was rejected in the very next weekly candle, came back down, hunted liquidity right back into that monthly zone. So we had a double tap in there, and then a move back up to retest that upper second standard deviation. So, is 65 to this monthly zone down here for fair game right now? Absolutely. Trading anywhere below the below the upper second rather of the weekly here makes that upper first and monthly support closing all-time high zone the logical area to keep testing, right? And if Bitcoin can close above $69,000 though, and close in the strong half of the prior all-time high swings at 65 to 69, then we are looking sideways and up generally. Breakout above, and things are going to march. I do suspect that that's, at least as the daily is kind of gone along this week, that's more what I am looking for right now. That does not mean that it won't meet conditions to head to the downside. And in this case, I'm looking at, closes below 69, 68, 300 or so. We're looking probably for things to head down to 65 at minimum and then revisit it from there. So keep it conditional. It's the weekend. It's a holiday as well. So, Steve was off today. Steve, the market maker, the single entity in the markets. He controls all markets, as a matter of fact, if you haven't heard. Steve, the market maker, he's the one guy hunting your liquidity on every single exchange, including traditional market exchanges and brokerages. So just know that Steve had off today, so we all get to play. That's a joke. There is no single market maker. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of market makers, or liquidity providers, if you will. The people who take the other side of the trade and provide liquidity. But in any case, let's move on to a few other things here of note. And that is going to be when looking at where the daily bands are versus the 2-day. We can see that the 2-day is now open and will close over the weekend here, but we can see the basis band of the 2-day Bollinger Bands is now coming in at around this April monthly swing high at $65,000. So that April 2021 high before the big reaccumulation, Wyckoff reaccumulation, a schematic almost to a T, that led to the $69,000 all-time high. We can see the daily basis band is there. And oh, hey, look, what do we have here? We've got the monthly closing all-time high in October of 2021 at 61,350. Below there, we've got 58.8, which was the March of 2021 closing all-time high in the monthly. And just below there, we have the lower first coming in at $58,000 even. So very bullish setup on the bands right now is really what I'm trying to say. We're getting a lot of confluences across different time frames that this range has a lot of support, 65 to 69. But if it breaks down, there's that big monthly zone where there's also more support coming in terms of volatility, also horizontal and historical support and resistance areas. Big volume wicks in these areas, just there in the top side of that monthly and towards the bottom side of that monthly zone. So more than likely at minimum, Bitcoin gets there and we'll likely see lower term time frame bounces at minimum, and then we gauge if those bounces are going to be sustainable. Now, again, if things did fall through that monthly, lose the lower first, we're looking to that September weekly swing high at 53 to this nice short-term consolidation at those historical weeklies from August and December of 2021. And what do we have right there, right at the top side of those weeklies? Well, that would be the lower second standard deviation of the Bollinger Bands lining up perfectly in that zone, which does mean that it would be another big area of confluence with support and resistance and volatility. Now, of course, that would be a downtrend confirmed on the weekly, especially if Bitcoin did not close any higher highs on a close or wick, or swing, I should say, and then begins to take out this last higher low on a swing and close. Then, we do have a structure change, but I'd be more in favor of a longer form consolidation at that point prior to busting on through and going on a big, massive bull run. So that is something to pay attention to over the weekend. We got another thing to pay attention to, and that is the 3-day time frame. We can see that the upper first standard deviation is guess where? Just so happens to line up with the $69,000 all-time high basis band. Guess where? Right at 58.8. So you can see that if you are not using volatility metrics with your TA, you're missing a vital piece, because you have trend, support and resistance, and volatility all make up momentum. Excuse me. And momentum is generally what a lot of TA guys in crypto like to use. But, you got to understand those three things that make momentum. But the four key pillars are trend, support and resistance, volatility, and momentum. So, using just one piece of that is not going to be as helpful as understanding all three or four pieces, or three that make up the fourth. So in this case, we have nearly perfect confluence with the volatility levels, price levels of the Bollinger Bands in this case. And that's exactly what Bollinger Bands are meant for. They're meant for measuring volatility. And we can see that on the daily, if we take a look at daily volatility to jump back a little bit in timeframes here, you might remember from yesterday's video, I said that the SMA on the daily is more than likely a good downside area to test. Bitcoin hasn't quite gotten there. It can still get there in the next, day or two, maybe even fall through it to the midline, by the way, at 65,700, go figure. But in this case, my first take would be that it's likely to try for a bounce in and around its current smaller consolidation range lows if it does breach down below 69K. But in this case, I wanted to reference BBWP, which is the Bollinger Band with percentile. It's measuring price volatility within and either within the bands and then above the upper or below the lower second standard deviation. And in this case, this is painting more of a consolidation picture. And the way to understand this is volatility will get above the moving average if we start seeing Bitcoin break out above its current zone highs at around that 71,800 to 72K, and then start closing above the upper second standard deviation. Then we would see a significant increase in BBWP. It is red right now because in this box built into the Landy bands is red when it is below the moving average and green when it is above. So what we would want to see is closures above the upper second, get the BBWP turning green, meaning above that SMA, And then we're looking for volatility expansion confirmed by both the Bollinger Bands on closes above the upper second and BBWP follow through. So price volatility follow through. Now, on the other side of that, the more unlikely side of that, at least currently, would be any closures below the lower second that tick volatility up would, then have a volatile move right into this support zone between 58.8 and 61.350. So understanding the volatility aspect of things is very important. I will have a dedicated video to a lot of the things that I talk about, at least the 4 key pillars of trading, trend, support and resistance, volatility and momentum, to kind of tie things together for those of you that do want to use the Landy bands and or, other trading systems, because just about every trading system is based on all of those 4 things that I just said. So that is the basics of what I'm looking for price action heading into the weekend, and some of the timeframes that I'm looking at for closures from the weekly to the 2-day to the 3-day. So in this case, I do think if Bitcoin did have a weekend breakout or something, on the deeper end of things, probably looking, 75 to 78 and then low 80s above there, because the weekly upper third is right at $83,000. So did want to mention that before I move on to anything else. Let's see if there is. I see a lot of people in the various streams, not seeing anybody chat. Now, I do know for those of you that are in the X stream, if you don't have a premium account with X.com, you can't chat in the stream. That's not something that I set. That is an X thing. If you do want to chat, go ahead and click on my profile, and in the link there is my link to my YouTube channel where you can just jump in and chat. You do need to be a subscriber. It is gatekeeped a little bit, but of course that's free. So, and it helps out the channel. But if you also are here and you don't know who I am and you like what you're hearing, you like the analysis, go ahead and subscribe, like, retweet, repost, all that good stuff. Whoa, hey, yo, I see an 888og.btc in there, sir. Hello. Wait, really? Why can you chat in there? I just read all the docs and it was like premium subscribers can't chat. How come you can chat in there now? Can others chat? That's weird. That's really weird. Also, I will let you know, if you are watching this on X, their compression algorithm is probably squashing this stream all to hell, and it probably looks like garbage. The stream on YouTube is fairly clean. And then, of course, after it processes and you go back and watch it on YouTube, it's much cleaner. Whereas if you try to rewatch this stream on X, it doesn't it's not buffering in the background or anything. So it ends up being the same quality as what you're seeing right now. I have not been happy with it on X, but I do know that a lot of people like to use it there. What I will try to do for streams in the future is I will try to take the raw file and upload it there. There's Bobby too. He can talk in there as well. Oh man, you're in YouTube and X, or you just switched over to X. Very, very interesting. So I guess I don't know what the hell the problem is with the chat over there, because they don't have premium and they're able to chat. Is it just an iOS versus Android thing? I mean, I didn't change anything. I went to the dashboard and I was like, is there any gatekeeping on chat there? I didn't see anything. Yeah, for those of you that are just joining, I just got done with the Bitcoin TA, so you can scrub back in the stream and you can go through that. Yeah. Weird. You're on your PC. Okay. Maybe that's got something to do with it. I really don't know. I was reading through their docs and it just seemed like people who have premium accounts with X. See, I have a premium account, but I go and chat there, and let me just go and check this real quick. Let me check. I'm going to log in. We're going to see if I can see any of the historical chat. Nope, but I can make little hearts on there apparently while I'm trying to figure things out. Yeah, I mean, I can chat, but I have I have an iPhone. Bobby. Yeah. No, no, no. I know that there was like, I believe, um, Baba was in there and his brother was sitting next to him. Baba could chat and his brother couldn't. But I don't know. You know what it might be? Wait a minute. Can people who are not following me, are they not allowed to chat? Is that something that could be happening? I can't unfollow myself, so that wouldn't work. It's interesting. Either way, I mean, I'm looking at the stream right now and it's crunchy over on X and it's very nice over on YouTube. So I don't know if it's the algorithm. I'm sending the um, same amount of upstream to both, and it's not showing any problems. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to. Yeah, my bit rate going up there is 5K connected, and that's over the recommended. Same for YouTube over here. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, this is fairly new on X, so yep. All right, so let's go ahead and let's do Friday shitcoin analysis. I would like you to let me know what shitcoin you're interested in, and I will take a quick look at it. We'll do rapid fire TA on them. We're not going to go super in depth, but we can do rapid fire. So if you are on X or YouTube and you can chat for one reason or another, go ahead and throw a shitcoin in there. We'll take a look. If you missed the Bitcoin analysis, scrub back. USD. Oh, man. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the Dixie shitcoin. The shittiest of the shitcoins. Dixie is at 104.50, so it did push up to our resistance overhead here that we were looking for, actually, based on the structure that we were seeing last time we spoke about it. We've got Y Crypto. Hello, sir. Gary hasn't changed since we talked about it last time, but I'll take a look at it for you. Upper first is now at 104.26. So if Dixie, does fall below there, I'm looking somewhere around, man, it would have to fall below there and basically lose 104. Below 104 at this wick low. Looking for maybe short-term pit stops in the upper 103 region to 103.65. Below there, we're looking to the bottom side candle here at 103.25 to 20. And that lower first around 103 even. Below there, we're looking at 102.50 or so. If Dixie does break out above this 104.57 overhead resistance, which is just the top side wicks here, then I would be generally targeting this high somewhere around 105. Above there, 105.40 to 105.60, and then above there, 106. So right now, it looks like it does want to try to maintain that, but that's all conditional based on holding 104. If it holds 104, probably going to see mid 105s to 106. Right now, the momentum pivot on the daily, though, is catching up. It's at 104.61. And that is actually going to result in an initial cross to the downside. This was mean reversion back. It was expansion to a little bit of mean reversion back to the highs here because it is trying to play out a consolidation and try a little bit higher at the moment, but I'm not enamored with it. I mean, it is Dixie after all, but that doesn't mean that it can't rip to the upside either. So just be aware of that. If it starts to break out above 106, then we're looking in the 107s up here towards this high side consolidation. A little bit of a W bottom to your market maker top, and then back down. Let's go ahead and look at Gary for Y crypto here. I want to say we looked at. Nope, I lied. We didn't look at KuCoin. How did we look at OKX? I marked this chart up, I thought. Let me know which was that MEXC? I thought I marked this chart up. But let's do KuCoin. It probably listed first there anyway. Oh god, that's an ugly thin line there. It says log scale, so it's still the same exact regions as the last time we talked about. As long as it's trading above 3.3 cents or so, you could maybe even give it room to 3.325 cents. Then we're looking at it, probably just continuing its consolidation to the top side. If it does start expanding down below the lower second here, to be fair, at 3.45 cents, it's going to hit those areas more than likely at around 3 cents to 3.25. It starts to close below there. We're looking back down to 3 cents even. 3 cents is over here. So actually it would be if it starts closing anywhere below 3.45 and then 3.25, we're looking at 3 cents even to the bottom side down here at 2.8 cents, 2.85 or so. Below there, probably marking down to like 2.5 cents to 2 cents or so, somewhere around this high, and then this series of higher lows here in the 2 cent region, 2.5 cent region rather. To the top side, it needs to get above the upper second, break out above this last high here at 4.325 cents. So basically 4.3 cents above there. It needs to then go and break this high up here at around 4.9 cents. So basically above 5 cents, you're looking at a breakout to the upside. Below 3.25 cents, you're looking at a deeper run to the 3 cent region with the risk of an upper 2.8 to 2.5 cent region. Nothing too crazy there. It is a little tired looking below 3.8 cents right now, but it's nothing too crazy. This is a consolidation as it stands right now. So just be aware of the downside area on the wicks and then the upside area on any wick breakout. They burned again, so bullish momentum. I ain't seeing any bullish momentum, man. Doesn't matter what they did. Give me a website review. No, I'm not into that, dude. I'm a chart guy. I'm sorry. I can help you with the chart. I'm not like a fundamentals guy when it comes to that stuff, or like is their platform good or not? Like I'm not going to be the guy that you want to go to for that stuff. One of the main reasons why is because, one, I don't care about any of it. I'm not in it for the tech. I'm in it for the money. So I'm not good in that respect, but also I just don't know anything about it. Like the real reason is I don't know anything about it, and I'm not invested in it. If I see it, ready to turn or something, then I'll, take a look and maybe even trade it myself. Right. But yeah, I'm in it for the money. Look, all shit coins to me, just so everyone here understands my position on it. I own a big bag of altcoins, right? I was collecting. For those of you that were here, I was scooping up altcoins all throughout the bear market. I'm looking for new low cap coins that are ready to burn in this market, and not burn in terms of burning the coins, but bullish, and ready to rip to the upside. But all of that is a means to an end, just to get more USDT or USDC to buy more Bitcoin for my long-term hold. So like that, I'm a Bitcoin guy. Also just an ends to a means to an end rather. And, so that's the perspective that I approach it from. And even traditional markets, I trade traditional markets. I don't talk about it here often, but I own stocks and I sell covered calls in bull markets, and I bracket options positions, butterflies, iron butterflies, and all kinds of different strategies and stuff like that for options markets. But that's still all of that money, just so you understand, when I make money in traditional markets, guess where it goes? It goes to buy more Bitcoin. So, I am involved in all of these markets, but the one thing that I'm actually interested in is Bitcoin. And I'm just not a good guy for that stuff. In terms of, is this a good project or not? I would have no clue, but I can help you with the charts, bud. Anytime, ask, and I will try to give you my opinion on where I think price is headed. Let's go ahead and take a look at, you want to see STX? So Bobby wants STX. Let's go ahead and take a look. You want Binance, Bobby? Let's go Binance. Now this is this is Stacks. This is layer 2 on Bitcoin. I have a very large bag of Stacks from quite a while ago. And I accumulated a lot more, and I've heard that there's some cool stuff going on there, but I just don't understand it. So again, like I'm not I'm not good when it comes to the fundamental side of things. But the chart is well, look at it. It's amazing. And that HODL bag is just freaking doing some bonkers returns on it right now. Stacks looks amazing. This is a breakout. This is a confirmed breakout above its all-time high. This looks really good. Now, it could just mess around the all-time high area, but the weekly's got beautiful support below it. The upper first is coming in at 283. So as long as it's trading above there and this prior wick low at around 215, it's looking beautiful. We got the basis band likely to come into that zone as well. It didn't even, man, it got bought up before even hitting this wick high over here at 209. Got front ran. At worst, I could see this at some point, if it failed around its all-time high here, maybe coming back to try to base somewhere around 160 to 170, but that might be wishful thinking. The only danger zone for Stacks right now is a big move down below 125, and I don't see that happening from here. The weekly is hot to trot though. 349 is the pivot, and it's at 369. Nice. So it's actually looking really good. I'd prefer a longer term chart on this because the longer term is so damn bullish and it's breaking the all-time high. This is, in my opinion, going to continue up and to the right. Now we can get a swing high to swing low. Man, it's kind of tough though. Why don't we do this? Let's go to the monthly. Man, that monthly, look at that monthly. Wow. Go Stacks, go. Yeah, 696. gotta get memes in there, right? 1272 on the monthly. Monthly is just rolling. It's hot. 155 is the pivot too. So this looks really good. That might be a conservative target. We might have to raise that target significantly. 696, so basically $7 to $10 between the 1272 and 1414. 1618, it's at 18 to 20. Then we've got 1786 at 30, 1888 at 38, and then two spot at $50 up there, almost 53. I could see that with the way that Stacks is really, really starting to pick up steam with some of the um, some of the other partners that they have that I do know of. And I do know that there's like coins launching and like the stacks to whatever that coin conversion is happening right now. There's a lot of cool stuff going on with stacks. Much like Solana, there's a lot of stuff just just rolling on it. Yes, and I gotta shout you guys out because I bought stacks all the way down in 2022 after the breakdown I was accumulating, and then it went back and it retested, and I bought way more. So I was buying on the breakdown here when it was breaking down all through here. I was buying pretty much once every 4 weeks. I was buying a big old bag of it in the bear market, and then it came back and retested in 20. This was 2021 into 2022. And then when it retested, I bought a ton of it and then around the 40 cent range again. And it actually did average me up a little bit because I was buying so big, but I was pretty confident with what Bitcoin was doing that it was also going to turn, along with many other alts. So it looked really good. And yes, you did tell me it was a beast of a chart. But it was a double top of a chart. It was a higher high on divergence and then boom down, just like Bitcoin at the time. So, that was the perfect time to be interested in accumulation. Let's go ahead and take a look. I do think, I suspect, Bitcoin moving down well, about $1,000, into that $69,000 region. If you look at the way that that the ETFs closed, we'll go back to Bitcoin for a moment. If you look at the way the ETFs closed, man, they closed strong on their last trading day of the week, coming into a monthly open. Man, April could get real fun real quick because Monday, March 1st is the open. Now, granted, there is going to be a lot of guys taking off work in the industry because it is holiday. So a lot of kids out of school, stuff like that. But yeah, we could see Bitcoin potentially early part of April running into the having a nice April, especially if it closes anywhere above $69,000. That really is some of the criteria that we got to pay attention to when looking at the monthly. Any closes above the upper second standard deviation are continued expansion to the upside. Closes above the upper third, pretty much what you want to see. Anywhere above upper thirds coming in at $72,000. So again, that's in the local range. That's where we want to see it, push the local all-time high. Local because it is within range. So, if we do start seeing that by Monday, coming in, Sunday into Monday, man, April's looking really good. It doesn't have to meet that criteria by Sunday, but it would look even more bullish coming into Monday if it did. And then maybe a quick wick down to fill for CME or something. This is absolutely powerful. The next thing that we do have to pay attention to is the quarterly, which is closing with the monthly candle. So Sunday, we got a quarterly close coming in. If Bitcoin closes anywhere above the upper second, we're going to see expansion up over the moving average here. I suspect we're going to see that anyway. It's currently 70. It's 37 under 38 for BBWP. We're likely going to see this cross coming into the open of the quarter on the 1st. And this is Bitcoin loading the Bullzooka right now. That's what it's doing. I'm telling you, that's the edge that you can get here is anywhere above $65,000. This thing's Bullzooka mode. Even if it continues to go sideways for a little while, it's just loading up the powder there. 27,500, almost 28K is the pivot on the quarterly, of course. Stoke well turned up, getting ready for expansion. This is absolutely beautiful. Get excited, please. If you're not excited about this, you're going to be real sad, because if you're not excited about this, that probably means you're in a short position, in which case, if you aren't quick with the close, Bitcoin's probably going to punish you. Yeah, Bitcoin looks real good on the quarterly. Real good. And then, of course, next month, we're going to be looking into, April. We will have the 2-month close at the end of April. So we will be watching the 2-month close. And I brought this up before as well. Any closes in April above the upper second standard deviation. So there's plenty of time. And that's at 68,865. So basically the all-time high here at $69,000. Any closes above there, and we're kicking off on all time frames. 55 over 42 with the momentum pivot, or with BBWP. And when pulling this out to index, was the first ever full-on reset to the same area in Bitcoin's history on the 2-month. Like, this is, man, if you aren't excited now, you better be getting excited. This is the fun times. We've had a fun time since the end of 2022 into 2023. It's been all fun. And that fun is going to pale in comparison to the fun that's to come. So get excited. Also, I'm just going to take it one level at a time. So above, local high 75 to 78, 78 to 80, 80 to 83, maybe 85. And then we start looking up to the deeper 85s to 90s. And then probably a pullback at about 100K. I got a question the other day. It was like, Landy, do you really think Bitcoin's going to get to 100K? I'm like, that's conservative. That's very conservative. I absolutely believe it's going to get to 100K. The technicals are all lining up there. The technicals are lining up for it to go on a run to at minimum 130 on the more conservative end of things. But there's probably going to be some real big volatility in between then. And I do think that we are in for a very special time in Bitcoin. Things have changed. First double top in Bitcoin back in 2021. Deeper bear market than normal in terms of percentage and dipping into the prior cycle all-time high area. The picture is changing. Bitcoin is growing and maturing and evolving. There's a lot of exciting things happening on Bitcoin in terms of ordinals and stuff like that. Who knows how long that'll last, to be quite honest, but that will that's also gonna get more intensified as Bitcoin continues to rip to the upside. And for the daily right now, I mean, this is bullish consolidation. This is people biding their time. And remember, halving is coming up very shortly here. And that's going to be the big narrative. We'll talk about it on Monday. We got plans for talking about it. We're going to review the longer term time frame picture as well. The quarterly, 2-month, monthly. We'll take a look at some of the in-between time frames, like the 4-week, 3-week, 2-week, weekly, and then under. So it's going to be a big stream on Monday. We're going to be looking at a lot of stuff. So Bobby says as long as 58 to 59. Yeah, I mean, you could even be, Bitcoin can play down to the consolidation range lows. You could even swing them and hit that meme pullback number that we talked about. Bitcoin has been doing, typically that 20 to 22% this entire run up, and that's around $58,000 or so, maybe a little bit deeper. It's around, 56 to 58 basically is the meme pullback. But to be quite honest, I'd be looking back to this consolidation over here. If it started to break down from the monthlies at 58.8, that's where I'd be looking, 50K, 53. And that's, people would be screaming and crying. That's a 28 to a possible 31 to 32% move, but that's not abnormal at all. For high volatility environments like this, I mean, shit, the upper first isn't even close to 50 right now. It's $6,000 or $5,000 to $6,000 under right now. Now, it's more than likely going to be around $50,000, that upper first on the monthly. And that is an area to be aware of while Bitcoin is in bull mode. And that provides for some beautiful trades to the downside. I mean, you can still trade to the downside in a bull market. I mean, Bitcoin's moving multiple thousands of dollars in a day, even in consolidation. So, you can get trades in, but, it's more biased to be picked up on the long side, right? So you just got to be careful if you're taking that short side. You got to be extra diligent in managing your trade and not going stupid high leverage with no stop and shit like that. And also, don't listen to the people that are like, it's a triple top. It's a triple top. It's going to go down 12K, man. It's coming. 12K. You ready for it? Like, come on, man. The capo, wrong. Profit blue, wrong. I mean, at least Income Sharks corrected and said, like, my invalidations hit and I was wrong, and like understood that it was not time to play games like that. And then, of course, you've got Gareth. His short's probably exploding now. He's probably exploding out of his shorts. Yeah, that guy. Filling short position since like 31.8 or some shit like that. And if you are following any of those people, unfollow them because they don't know what they're talking about. Start following people like myself, Credible Crypto, MDX, Crown. There's a whole host of people who actually understand this stuff. I've been involved in markets for a long time myself. I've been involved in markets in one way or another for the past 20 years. So, there's a lot of guys that are really good. The Pizzino brothers are really good. Now, granted, I vehemently disagreed with them when they were looking for the meme pullback. I vehemently disagreed with some of you as well. It's all conditional. That's why if I'm not seeing it hit the conditions, then I can't look for it. There's no reason to. There's no reason for me to look for 75K if it hasn't broken the all-time high. Like, am I more biased towards it above $68,000 to $69,000? Sure. Yeah, I'm more biased to it, but I ain't looking for it till we see price get above that all-time high. Ain't really looking for it, even the all-time high to get ran until it's above 72 on at least a 4 or 6 hour, right? Like, I can't look for these things, for a lot of this stuff until Bitcoin, meets the closing conditions that we discuss. And, that doesn't mean that somebody looking for the meme pullback is like out of their mind. No, in fact, it's logical. It's 100% logical. And, markets love memes. I love memes. And we have a severe lack of Pepe memes in the server right now. So if you would like to join the Landy's Crypto Corner Discord server, you're more than welcome to. The link is in the video description. It's also linked in my profile on X. It's just a space for you to come and chat about TA stuff. And maybe learn if you're there to learn or share what you know. You're more than welcome to. Yeah. So how come I don't have a bigger following? I don't know. Don't care really. I don't know if you're asking that as a rhetorical question or if that's, like, why don't you have a bigger following? Because I don't know. I don't know what the implication there is. But as it stands right now, I don't care. I'm not in this to build. I'm not in this for the socials, so to speak. I'm in this to chat with people of like mind who are interested in technical analysis and would like to learn the way that I view things and or find confluence if they have a different way of trading. That's it, really. I'm here to make friends. Lifelong friends. Friends who like TA, who are interested in making money in these markets. Right? That's what we're all here for, right? So I don't know, don't care. I don't try. I'm like not shilling. It's not my thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe I could be a little abrasive sometimes. Sometimes I make fun of shitcoins and people get mad. In particular, people who are like deep into XRP, they do not like me. Funny, I probably own way more XRP than they do too. And I've watched that bag go sideways. I've watched gold. I've watched my gold outperform my XRP. Like, come on. What the hell? Yeah. There is another interesting fib poll here to be aware of that I did want to call out while I'm kind of bantering in between here. We have the closing lows on the monthly to the closing high, last closing high on the monthly. We can see Bitcoin's above the 2 spot. It's above the 888. It's above the 1786 and the 1618. The reason why I bring this up is because the 1618 on this is right at $50,000, which is that weekly area that we just spoke about. Above the 2 spot, you can see the 272 is at 80,000, 2414 is at 88, and the 2618's at, well, it's at $100,000. And if you take this same fib poll, and just as a reminder from before, where's $100,000? Well, from the cycle top to cycle low of the prior cycle, we have the 1272 coming in at 103, lining up with this fib poll that we just did that I messed up by moving the whole fib instead of just the top part or the one spot. We can see that's lining up with the 2618 up here at 102 versus 103 versus the local range fib poll that was coming in at 100 and something like that. So we have all kinds of confluences there. Yes, 100K is on the board. Absolutely. And much higher is on the board as well. Doesn't mean that it's going to hit it. But at minimum, I'd be looking 130, maybe even 150, and then see where things are. Should I still buy Bitcoin now? Yes, you should always be buying Bitcoin. The answer is yes. If you're thinking to yourself, hey, should I buy Bitcoin? The answer is always yes. Is it up? Is it down? Is it sideways? Yes, buy it. Buy Bitcoin. If you are in it to buy it and make a profit by selling it, you know, Bitcoin is just now playing around its all-time high. I would venture to say that you could still make a very large amount of money off of it. You can see that, you know, it did this for a couple weeks, you know, right around the all-time high here, just below $20,000. It went and tapped on it, went sideways for about 3 weeks back in 2020. This was in November into December. And, you know, I do really feel like we are in that December timeframe if you were going to make the comparison. Now, the one thing that I would say is, no, in fact, below the upper second, yeah, no, it's looking just like it did. You know, it's not same candle structure, obviously, but we can go back in time on the index here. And we can see that the same thing happened back here in 2017. Came up to the all-time high, swung it, came back down all the way to the basis band in this case. You know, and that's still, you know, in the cards if Bitcoin starts trading below the upper first. So this is nothing abnormal. If it does head down, you know, I'd be looking at that as opportunity all the way. Of course, not financial advice. Do your own research. Everything can go to zero. Bitcoin could not exist anymore. Yada, 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 all that stuff that's patently false. Oh, well, not financial advice and do your own research. You should always do that. But it's going to zero and won't exist anymore is false. I mean, come on. Jason P. Lowry is back to run another PSYOP. Yes. Bull mode has been engaged, yes, for quite a while now. I mean, just look at this weekly. Coming off of 30 after the break at 31.8. This is like the weekly is beautiful. I expect it will remain beautiful, even if it starts to come down more. And again, above $69,000, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking at it running the highs more likely than not and higher. Now, the weekly, the weekly is definitely pointed up towards the $83,000 to $85,000 area. We'll see this and revisit it on the weekly and get some updated targets on Monday as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Is there any other questions? Any other shit coins you want me to look at? If there is, drop them in the chats. We got X apparently is working for people on PC right now. If not, head on over to YouTube, sub the channel, come on down into the chat box there and let me know. Yes, join the Discord, please. You're more than welcome. Ordinal talk. Should I do like an ordinal stream? Oh, God. I said that, and I know there's a delay, and Bobby already popped up with Nat Cats. Perfect. Perfect timing, Bobby. Hold on. Let me go to Magic Eden. All right. Let's get this up over here. Let's go to the cats. Let's go to the kitty cats and take a look. Oh, boy. Oh, dear. They haven't had many sales today. Let's go to market cap because they do have a big market cap. Pending? Nope. Let's go to market cap. Got quantum cats even, and nat cats. Oh, geez. Nice little pump off the lows here, but zoom out and you see an ugly, ugly chart right now. Look, it's got to stabilize and hold the floor at like 0.03 Bitcoin. Or else it's at risk of dropping into the twos, mid twos, and possibly beyond. Part of the problem I really do see here is not enough owner distribution. Not that would make things any better. Right now, ordinals across the entire space are down, so it's not anything abnormal. Primary resistance locally overhead is going to be that 3.038 to 0.43, and then it's knocked its head on 0.05 quite a bit here, just above there. It was trying to maintain that 0.0455 for a while, but then dropped it. So, yep, not looking great. You're getting some snipers on the list over here, though. Sniping rares and stuff like that for higher prices, although that hasn't happened as much in the past 24 hours as we've seen prior. The 0.5 here. Hey, look, that's a yarn ball. I think I know who that is. The 0.5. Yeah, so you're getting rare snipers, and that's about it right now. And then you're getting people selling the floor down. For liquidity, in most cases, there's some pretty hot mints coming up. Ink did really well, but you can't see their. I don't know if the reveal is the issue right now for Eden, or if it's just if they don't have the actual NFT up. Yeah, it doesn't look like they have it up yet. So pretty amazing that just generic is trading at 0.066 on the floor right now. That's kind of crazy, man. Um, but they or 0.065 now is what the floor is probably going to move to if this doesn't get picked up. But active chart, bigger team, big following, sucking liquidity. I mean, to the tune of almost 275, a little over 275 Bitcoin, in a low liquidity environment. So you're just getting rotation into it right now. It'll all come back though. And just about everything is going to pump here. So everything's in consolidation in ordinals right now. Good time to go shopping. Pick up good projects. Blue chips, as they say. Yeah, get some NBOs. Those are super rare. And limited supply. Inscribed on rare sats. Yeah, all the good stuff there. There's some really good projects out there that little unnoticed right now, but when the rotation does occur, it's going to go boom, especially on low supply and diversified holders within low supply. So very few whales. But yeah, there's a few others. I like the Puppets project, the little pups. They're doing well. Opium has been doing pretty well again. Bitcoin puppets, anything puppets related has been doing pretty darn well. The Game of Blocks thing is falling off the map, but this is pretty much holding around the $40 to $50 range while they're running their little on-chain game. Runestone's making the comeback, getting ready for that big rune drop. I don't know what happens to these. Somebody's going to have to let me know in the comments what happens to these. When the halving happens, do they break and then you get the meme coin, or do you keep these and you get the meme coin? I don't really understand what that is. Maybe somebody can help me out with that. I'm a little confused. All I know is that people who hold the runestone right now are getting a bunch of free mints, and that's cool. I like free shit. And that was a free airdrop, so that's cool too. There's quite a lot of that going on in the space. A lot of like rune miners and got your totems and your risks, and those were not airdropped, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so far, really nothing's popping outside of some of the more recent projects lately. You got this one. Didn't get the mint on this. This is interesting art. I don't know much about the team, but meme stuff does really well, especially when they already have their trait list uploaded too. I don't know. I didn't get in on this mint. I missed it. I didn't have a wait list for it. Sense did amazing. I was actually kind of shocked. It was like $50 to mint these, and I think they traded up to like $200 or $300 at some points. Yeah, they were all the way up to like 0042, 004269. Nice. Before selling back down to kind of where they started at listing. But I was actually really shocked that they did as well as they did. And then I went and I looked at their project a little bit, and I'm like, oh, I get it. They're like actually teaching people stuff about pennies, and they're inscribed sat for sat. So that's cool. It's a cool idea, and I understand now why people got into it and were excited about it. But I'm biased. I like these little pups. These little pups are cool. Now, of course, I minted one of these, but I like Cake Nard and Cake World stuff. They got really good art from back on ETH all the way through. I think I still have some of their ETH stuff before it got, they had like a lawsuit and like all kinds of shit. They fought it, and I believe they won because they're still doing stuff. Yeah, they're cool. There's cool stuff. That's all vanity plays. Every once in a while you get Bitcoin flips in there, but if you're in that space, you're in it to buy the art and support the community and shit like that. That is my DGen play this cycle, yes. Hi, Sam. How you doing? Um, yeah. Which ordinals do I like the most? I like NBO. I'm a little biased there. I am a member of the community. I like um, I like the pups projects. um, I like the rune stuff that's going on. I'm not saying go out and buy a rune. They're very expensive. $3,000 is a lot to drop on something that is, stated to be dropping a meme coin. Um, you never know how these things go. OMB, good project. They nuked their own floor, but they're expanding the collection. It will recover just fine. Let's see what else. Nat Monkeys, great community over there. It's a Nat project. Nat Cats, obviously. Good DMT projects. Digital matter theory guys are doing a really good job. They just got a little mint fatigue because people got really excited about it, started doing a bunch of free mints and not delivering on projects. So they're working on, kind of getting that under control for the DMT side of things. That stuff will come back and interesting. I'm very interested in good projects. There's like another one coming up, Nat Dragons, which is very low floor price, good art. They're working on traits, active development, and then community building is kind of where you're going to find, the projects that do the best. There's the Dragoons PFP collection that's coming out. Those guys are very cool over there. Don't know a lot about it. Art looks good though. The community is really cool. The developers are really cool. That doesn't mean that the project's going to be a successful project, but I'm down for supporting that stuff. This is ordinals are my play this cycle. I've already packed my bags with alts. I'm going to hunt some gems from here on out. Coming into alt season, and let the rest of my bags ride. And then everything's going back into Bitcoin anyway. So, and then for a lot of the ordinal stuff, I'm gonna keep a lot of it. It's vanity buys for me. The beginning and end of this stream, you see an art piece called "Fuck the Fed" by Viola Miscode, inscribed on rare sats. Got the mask. Go back to your alt chain. Got the shirt by BTC Free Ross. Fits me perfectly. Already got a print on the way. Framed, ready to hang up. So, I'm not selling that thing. Like that's the kind of stuff like I'm in it for different reasons than I think many are. Many are in it for Bitcoin flips, and you can do that. And I have done that and will continue to do so. But then when I find a good project, good community, I'm not in it for the flip. I'm in it for the hanging out with the community, supporting the project, and also making money on it. It's not like I don't trade it or trade them. Still trade them. But the goals are a little bit different there. Yeah, there's a lot of shit coins coming to Bitcoin. Yeah, yes, there is. You're going to see the Solana and ETH crew move over to Bitcoin very, very soon. I mean, they already are. Solana's way hotter in terms of that. I said this last stream. If you're into the Solana stuff, be careful. A lot of that pre-sale stuff's gonna get the SEC sniffing around. So just be careful. Make sure you're doing your taxes properly with it. They're not going to ding you for buying and selling an unregistered security, but they if they're aware of pre-sale stuff like that, which is all over the ETH ecosystem and all over, Solana and all these other alts. Just understand the SEC will sniff around. So make sure you're doing your taxes right, because they'll already know if you're not. Yeah. And you're going to see some of that come to Bitcoin too. I think the SEC will probably go after things on a project by project basis, or the DOJ, depending on what's going on. I'm not totally confident in those statements, but it's a hot topic. Let's put it that way, in industry as well. So when looking at from the traditional market side of things and how that interplays with venture capital, a lot of those companies are being looked at. They're letting them do what they do, and they're watching every step. So understand that. Yep. Government needs money. They don't really need money. They'll just print some more of their own bullshit shitcoin called, here in the United States, called the United States dollar, the Federal Reserve Note, the USD, the Dixie, the ultimate shitcoin that's rehypothecated over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah. No idea. Did the X stream go down? You'll have to let me know. I can't even see it on my profile anymore, so you'll have to let me know if it went down. No idea. My entire interface says that there's 0 people here, but I also am chatting with people, so I know that's not true. So that's okay though, because it's the weekend and I'm going to log off here. So I do want to wish you a wonderful weekend, a wonderful holiday if you do observe it. And, of course, a wonderful morning, afternoon, and evening, no matter where you are in the world. I do want you to trade safe and, of course, as always, stay safe. And with all of that said, Landy out. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Street Gang, this is Almighty. Standing by, over.
The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
Mighty, over. CBR Street Gang, this is Almighty. Standing by, over.